All right, let's be honest. Did we really watch the third period? No, not really.
Let's be honest. The dude scored 77 seconds into the game. It was just Gustav Forsling, his first goal of the postseason on a shift that was. It looked like it was February on a Wednesday night on a. It looked like they played 3 sets of games in a row.
Yeah,
like where was the energy at the start of this hockey game?
Well,
that was. This is year 7.
Yeah,
that was the first embarrassing performance by a Rod Brind'Amour team in 7 years in a game that mattered.
Let me get this right out of the gate first, okay? Credit to the Florida Panthers. Sometimes
they're a war machine.
Sometimes teams are just in their bag, and the Florida Panthers over the last 3 years have absolutely been in their fucking bag. And
yeah, but they didn't dominate the Canes like this.
I get that.
23.
I get that. The way the
There's
Florida,
only one appropriate.
but
way
Joe,
to
let's be honest. The way the Panthers are playing, they're going to win this series regardless. The way that they were playing, you
Correct.
can make the argument in game 1 they didn't even play all that great. I know Paul Maurice even said we even play our best game. They still found a way to win. That gets to the other aspect of this. If we can say that the Florida Panthers are equally that good, well, we can also say that the Carolina Hurricanes were equally that bad tonight, like just embarrassingly bad. To your point, this was one of those things that we haven't seen a game like this in Lenovo Center in quite some time. That looked like a regular season Tuesday night. Let's just burn the tape and move on to the next one. The problem is there's really no way to move on to the next one in a series like this. This is it, man. So I think, honestly, I want to say this out of the gate too. I'm kind of proud of Carolina Hurricanes fans tonight, because as the second period was wrapping up, we started getting a shoot the puck chant a couple of different times over the last 3 minutes. And then the period ended with a boo, with a few boos. To me, that is growth for the Carolina Hurricanes. Getting to this point isn't good enough anymore. Getting to this point with an opportunity for you to get to the Stanley Cup, that's the thing that you came to see. So the fact that the Canes fans are getting into the gallows humor, that's a little maturity from the Carolina Hurricanes fans after 7 years of doing this. Anyway, we're going to crack open the contraband OG Light on Press Row.
probably should take a picture of in the building.
You're so checked out on tonight. Like you don't
you know
give a
why?
shit.
You know
it's
why?
funny to me.
You know what?
This is kind of funny.
We got great phone calls. We got Mike Maniscalco. People don't want to hear what I have to say because I said we were getting the Canes fastball today.
No,
and they made me look like an idiot.
Honestly,
so, you know what?
Honestly, they made me look smart. Game after game. I'm being serious.
What's harder to do, by the way?
What's that? Make me look smart?
I don't know what's harder to do.
Look at this.
Oh, look at you!
You're welcome.
Look at you! And that really is the official graffiti microphone. That is from the Wayne Holt Roadcaster stash.
You are welcome.
So that is fantastic, Mike.
Yeah.
We all got props tonight. We got OG beers. We got graffiti mics. We're all good, man.
I know. I dug in for this one. So again, to back up what you just said, I don't know what's harder, to make Joe Giglio look dumb or to make you look that smart.
I know, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Game one, everybody said, "Oh, you burned the tape or whatever." I'm like, no, there was enough out of game one that you could take and say, "This is good. Isolate this. Do more of this," and enough of the bad where you're like, "Don't do this anymore."
Mm-hmm.
This one, no.
No.
You leave it here. You put it in the circular file. You do whatever you have to do, and you move on down to Sunrise, Florida. The place so lovely that they paved over the swamp to build it. But what they have built down there is one hell of a hockey team.
Yeah.
This Florida Panthers team, if there was any question about what they've done in the last 2 years, it should all be absolved by this run that they have gone on here.
Deep, skilled.
Yeah.
Their goalie. No holes there, man.
Nope.
And let's give Mo a little bit of credit. I like the buttons that he pushed with the, we weren't even that good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you suck Hurricanes. It was more of like, hey, guys, the hardest thing, all the conversations we've ever had with Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, pick a successful coach, a championship coach. They'll tell you the hardest thing to do is get your players' attention after a win.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Guess what he did?
Oh, he did.
He got his players' attention because I expected the Hurricanes to buzz in the first period of this game. 77. I mean, did it barely took 77 seconds?
No, it was under a minute.
Because Florida had the puck that entire first shift, and it was like an out-of-body experience. for the Carolina Hurricanes, Mike. I mean, you've called all these games, No,
and for me it was, and this is going to sound really rough, but for me it almost felt it took on a preseason game for a moment when you talk about like an out-of-body experience, like certain things were just out of sync that you don't see from this group. And I've used the word resilient around them they're going to have to be now. I mean, there's no choice. But there's nothing flowery that you can say about, oh, well, this is it. No. This is one where, all right, you give up the first goal 77 seconds in. And that's a punch in the ding-ding, as somebody once said, or a kick there. But you know what you have to do from that? You got to look up at the clock and be like, we got 58 plus minutes left in this one. Forget that. It's the first shot. Let's go down and make, Sergei Bobrovsky's life miserable. Let's have one of those patented shifts that you hang on for 90 seconds. Didn't see any of that tonight. And I don't know which one of you guys said it after game one, where the Panthers out-hurricaned the Hurricanes. Thank you, Joe. I'm going to just make an amendment to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the Panthers play.
Yes.
They are nasty in a good way.
Yeah.
They just keep coming after you. That's what good teams do. When the Canes are at their best, there is no, okay, exhale and we'll skip a shift or two. We're on you. This Florida team is constantly on you. And one of the things that is truly impressive to me, Gustav Forsling, former Canes farmhand, who somebody was watching him here, and I have a good idea. I know who it was.
Shouts to Alex Nunnally for pointing out that we should have taken Forsling as the first goal scored.
But it's
maximum pain. Maximum pain on
but there's that identifying a player like Nico Mikkola, who was basically a throw-in when St. Louis traded Vladimir Tarasenko to the Rangers a few years ago.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we got a 6'6" Finn who can be nasty and can skate. Yeah, we'll sign you.
Yeah.
There's room for you here. And then they added Seth Jones at the trade deadline to make them even deeper. Just the little tiny things that they do like that.
Well, to Joe's credit, when they brought on Brad Marchand too, you were like, damn it. But that also shows you where the Panthers are in their run. Before you sat down, I'll admit that actually when I hit live on this thing, I was pissed. Joe's nonchalant. Maybe I should go more Joe's nonchalant status on this. I was actually pissed at how they came out tonight, only because I didn't want to be proven right about game one. Because game one was the opportunity for you to change the narrative.
All right.
Tonight only crystallizes it. And it makes it worse because, okay, fine. They got you in game one. Come back out here, reset. Maybe like Tripp talked about in game one. Maybe a little hyper, maybe a little jumpy. Fine. It's out of your system. Now you can settle this thing out. To your point from game one, win tonight. You can easily win on the road after that. Make this a series. Instead, they doubled down on shitting the bed, and I was shocked by that. You talked about settling things down after that first goal. Not when Andrei Svechnikov does it again. And if it wasn't for Jordan Martinook to save it, putting his body out, well, then we might have ended up 2-0 there real quick. So I guess
it was a hell of a night for Freddie to turn back into a pumpkin too.
Well, and that's the other thing too, that you talk about a preseason night. We had so much preseason night that we had, look, man, I'll just go ahead and say it. For a lot of folks in this building, they probably haven't seen Cooch past 10 o'clock on a Thursday night in a long time. But I wasn't expecting to see that tonight. Did anybody call Kochetkov coming in on the third period on a night like tonight? Nobody could have called that, especially going into the series where Freddie Anderson,
not an injury,
especially with Freddie Anderson being one of the best goalies in the playoffs, straight up going into this game. So I'm almost in this weird mode where, man, credit to the Panthers. Everything that you just said, they're on a level right now that Paul Maurice is crystallizing Hall of Fame status with how this is going right now. But
if he was an NFL quarterback, we would be having that conversation.
We absolutely would be having that conversation.
On the Mount Rushmore
he might be the Mount Rushmore of Doogie Howsers. So credit to the freaking Panthers on this one.
Good pull.
But on the other end,
why are you talking to Kachuk? I know he scored, but
I know. But on the other end, I'm like,
that was by the way Carter Verhaeghe's goal. He was happened to be on the other side of that. So,
but on the anyway, to
the
wrap
embarrassment
my point,
of riches that they have.
But it's also the embarrassment of the Canes and how they played today. So it's this duality of what I watched tonight, and actually leaves me kind of pissed.
Are you going with the duality of man? Are we
going
to go
Duel of the Fates?
Oh, okay.
Let's just do that.
That was a movie that I'd like to forget happened too. Outside of that,
Dude, Pod
that
Race is
scene.
good. Pod Race is good, man.
It was to sell video games and toys.
That's Star Wars.
Oh, jeez.
No.
No, you didn't just do that
Did you
to
not
Joe
have
Ovies.
Kenner toys back in the day?
I did.
That's what
But
Star Wars.
no,
Look
that's
at the
what-
Ewoks were.
That's what Jedi was. Jedi was finally like, oh, we got all this merch.
Yeah. Anyway, honestly,
Sorry to distract
I
everybody.
mean, honestly,
I'm
people
gonna get
might
a
want.
picture of the mirror in the building.
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
People might want the distraction if you think about it. You know, they're like, yeah, why don't you guys talk about Star Wars instead? Anyway.
I know.
Anyway.
I'll put it in these terms. I'm going to try to make this one not in any this game's a lot like Star Wars.
All right, thanks,
no,
Colin
it's
Cowherd.
not. No, it's Florida is a hell of a good team.
Yeah, man.
I've said it
Absolutely.
before, but if you don't play your best, you are not going to win, and they're going to embarrass you
Yeah.
the way that they play. And they lost Sam Reinhart in the first period,
Right.
and they still keep rolling after you. And I think the disappointing thing for me is, you keep waiting for, all right, 3-0, but the pushback's coming from Carolina in the second period.
Mhm.
They've been great in the second period all year, and in the postseason, they're going to get one or two. If the Aho goal counts, does that change anything?
Not with this Panthers team.
See, I want to sit here and say, yeah, but no,
Not with
I
this-
don't know.
not with
I
the
don't
way
know
the
how
Panthers
much
are
it,
playing.
I don't know how much it would have changed.
Great text from my son James. How the heck did Toronto push this team to 7 games? Florida.
Because Toronto wants to inflict maximum pain on their
No,
fans. That's why. Because you all knew the minute they went to Game 7, you knew how that
No,
was
I know,
gonna
but
end.
what he's saying is
No, I
the
know what
way
he's
that
saying,
they're
though.
playing and the way that they look, and it is styles make fights. It is horses
Right.
for courses. They have a mental hex
Yes.
over the Carolina Hurricanes,
Yes.
and the goal coming as fast as it did by not one of the stars, because tonight was a star-heavy night
Mhm.
for Florida.
Mhm.
You look at that score sheet: Kachuk, Bennett twice, Barkov. Like it's the who's
Verhaeghe
who
has
for
3
them.
assists. Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
I mean, it was the who's who for them tonight. But, to get that goal that early and to deflate the building and put the building in full-on Roy Williams PNC arena mode, I mean, they might as well have brought Marcus fucking Page out to shoot 3-pointers at that point.
Careful with the basketball analogies. I've been told people don't like them. I'm kidding.
Those
Anyway.
people can eat.
You haven't even taken like 3 sips of that beer. Chill. We also don't want to get
Mike's
Mike in
like,
trouble. Whoa. We don't get Mike in trouble. Anyway, continue.
My fire out.
No, actually, to the point. This is something that actually I think classifies. The Canes have done a very, very good job marketing to their fan base. Loudest house in the building. The pre-roll
Mhm.
on the video board is excellent. The production is excellent.
Mhm.
They've got coach talking about it. They got players talking about it. Everything's great. So it takes a lot to get this building for a Canes game to sound a hell of a lot like an NC State basketball game we've seen play out time and time again. So that really is a credit to the Panthers, and I think that's also a credit to the mindset that we talked about in Game 1. And before Luke sits down eventually, he's the one that said history lingers in these situations.
Sure.
And in playoff series, when you see teams frequently, when you have this kind of stuff, this MO, to Joe's point, when the Canes see certain teams, they know they've got them. The Panthers know they've got this team. And this building knew it. And it almost feels like the team knew it too today. And that's tough to watch. That's really tough to watch.
I said this after Game 1. It's not a thing until it is. Well, it is now.
It's a thing. And that's under
It's-
your control too.
Yeah,
But they've allowed it to become a thing.
It's 100% a thing. And the only way that changes
Mhm.
in any way, shape, or form is if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, you come out on Saturday night and just say, not tonight. And you're going to have, I'm not saying the greatest performance in the history of hockey, but you better play your game, because we didn't see that at all tonight. We saw it. I didn't hate Game 1. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate Game 1.
Yeah.
There is nothing about this game tonight that you can like. Nothing. If you're the Carolina Hurricanes. And that to me now puts in you either show us you were the team all year long,
Mhm.
where when you were up against it and things weren't good, that you could flush it, whatever sagas you went through and whatever ordeals were there and who was in and who was out of the lineup, or you don't waste anybody's time, and I hate to put it in those terms,
Mhm.
but I have to think that on Saturday night we're going to see the Canes' best game. Because if we don't, I don't know if we're seeing another game in this building. And I hate saying things like that, but that's just where we are now. That's the bottom line of it. Because Florida, they are the boa constrictor now in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, man.
Once they got you in the squeeze, they keep going until you don't breathe anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, some housekeeping with the team going into this game. Jalen Chatfield, at least, I guess, tried to make it a go at the morning skate. I know he was out here with the Zambonis around 6.
No, he took the warm-up.
He took warm-ups too, but I know that at I think it was Luke who had taken a picture and he captioned it like it was an intro scene to 24. Jalen Chatfield, 6:24 p.m. with the Zambonis out there. So clearly he's trying to make this thing go, right? But he couldn't. So they put Morrow out there. Fine. But he hasn't played for the first 13 minutes of this game. They go 5D. I get. I don't need the hockey splainers to show up in the mentions and things like that.
Yeah.
My question is, if you're going to dress them, you play them, and if you're gonna dress them and play 5D to start the game, especially as things are falling apart. And I get it wasn't necessarily on the defense. Not everything was on the defense. If it's going to be like that, why don't you dress Nikishin at that point? And I get that we've kind of assessed game 5 of the Capital series, gotten a little deeper. Maybe he wasn't as good as some people wanted to make him out to be. But that was also game 1 for him.
Right.
With Morrow coming off the last game, it wasn't exactly something that would make you believe, yeah, man, put him back out there. So what's the thought process in having Morrow out there today instead of Nikishin?
I'm just going to go with what Rod Brind'Amour said earlier, which was he was in the rhythm of playing, but I'll put it in this exact terms, and I don't know if the very Natalie-clad Luke DeCock will agree with this or not. You could have had Bobby Orr in his prime out there tonight, and I don't think it would have mattered.
Oh, that might have mattered. Because then they would be able to actually get the puck out of their own zone.
Yeah, there's that too.
I do think Nikishin, Morrow. The question I keep coming back to, and this is in my column, is why are you carrying Riley Stillman and Ty Smith if you don't trust them over 2 rookies who are clearly in over their head? And what was the plan if a defenseman got hurt?
Yeah.
Pray?
Yeah.
How are they this unprepared for this at this point in the season? I thought that's what Stillman and Ty Smith were for. I thought that's why they had those guys in Chicago. I thought that's what Morrow was for. But if you got a bunch of guys who you either don't want to play or who aren't up to the moment, no fault of their own, you've sabotaged yourself.
It wasn't all on the defense tonight, though.
No, God, no.
I mean, I want to make that clear. I'm just reiterating
This was a wholesale failure.
This was a total straight-up failure.
Absolute systemic failure.
Yeah, to the point where, who could have predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals you're yanking Freddie Anderson, given what we had seen so far? Nobody could have predicted that.
I will give Andrei Svechnikov credit. He had an impact on the game without being on the score sheet. -3 and in the box for a 4th.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll
to his credit. Now, let's credit where it's due. He came out. He just met with the media in the locker room. Said, I turned the puck over twice. My mistakes. Nothing I can do. He's owning up to it, but he's got something to prove in game 3. A lot of people have something to prove in game 3.
Yeah, it's not just him.
I was thinking about in the elevator on the way up here, and you guys may have thoughts. We talk a lot about them not winning an Eastern Conference Finals game since June 1, 2006. I think this might have been their worst playoff game since about June 17th, 2006, whatever game 6 in Edmonton was.
Oh, yeah, that was a complete meltdown, right?
I think this is as bad as that, if not worse.
Yeah. But the difference,
the
circumstances. Yeah, I think that's the difference. If I can kind of tap back into.
Look at the brain on Luke, man. That was a Bomani-esque.
Yeah, that was
6/17/06 without looking at the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I just
anytime you have to travel back and forth to Edmonton, certain dates just branded into your brain.
But to Luke's point, that was impressive. That was good.
Pretty good.
That was good. To Luke's point, you and I were there. That was like the one rare trip. You were there for that one, right?
What? I was
in game 6.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
no,
you were
not
there.
only was I there.
Yeah.
I was pissed about being there because Corey Stillman turned the puck over on the power play in overtime on game 5. And I literally had to go straight from the air to the airport from this building.
So quick story time.
At 3 a.m.
Nobody wanted to go to Edmonton, but we still needed to send somebody there just in case. Guess who drew that assignment for basically 48 hours in Edmonton, right? I didn't even sleep. But the point is, I remember being there and seeing oh my goodness, what the hell is this? But in a weird sort of way, it was fine. We're going home. We're not sweating.
And there's to cut you off, but I do have to plug something here.
Yes.
A couple years after that, I did pat myself on the back here. An incredible oral history.
Not you.
Of how the Hurricanes turned it around between Game 6 and 7.
Yes.
That includes, I think it was Forsland describing Wesley and Brind'Amour sitting on the plane with their shoes untied, grumbling about everything, and said they were like Statler and Waldorf the whole season.
Right.
And that basically Roddy's speech in the room after that game and the mood on the plane coming home was, we are not going down like this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mood that you have to have right now.
Yeah. How does that happen now?
Yeah. Who's the one who stands up in the room tonight before the door opened and says, we are not going down? This because this is embarrassing.
Mike,
this was an embarrassment.
Mike, I'm going to use some coarse language right now. So
You go right
if
ahead.
If you would like to
Earmuffs.
excuse yourself, you can.
You go right ahead.
We had an illuminating conversation today with Jeff Goodman.
I'm still dying of that graffiti Mike flag. Sorry. Yes. Goody. What's
beautiful.
up with
It's a real graffiti mic.
We had an unbelievable conversation with Jeff Goodman about there's a difference between being an asshole and there's a difference between being a motherfucker. And I got to tell you, I look at the Hurricanes lineup. They need some motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like Fishy. God, I love Fishy.
He was good tonight. He was like the only one who was good tonight.
I trust all my kids with Fishy.
Yeah.
I do all those things with him. But I need Fishy to be a motherfucker.
He was good tonight.
Svetch in the previous series was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right now, he's sitting there going, he's not even being an asshole.
Yeah.
He's not being a factor. So this is another way of saying if you want me to clean it up to Steve Adazio language, you got to have some dudes, but they have to also want the thing.
Yeah.
And not in the elementary school
I
level.
know.
You know what I mean? Like the money was on the table tonight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that message was relayed to the team. And I know they understand that. I'm not trying to act like I'm telling them something they don't know.
You need to go in that room right now and put on the board right now. Needs equal ballers.
Right. No. Needs equal motherfuckers. I believe that's what it is.
We need ballers.
Yeah.
Right?
Try to get this back.
No.
The other route. But that's where I look at this thing because, they show Kachuk. They give Kachuk some flowers in the post game. And it's like, we know who he is.
Yeah.
Bennett. That people forget because he fought the other Kachuk brother. And I still think the Florida GM's got to be furious over the Four Nations, which is probably why we'll never see it again. But, Bennett was the one who answered for real. Right?
No, they made
too much money off of that. We don't see it again.
They don't care.
No chance we are not seeing
They don't
that
care
again.
that one Kachuk brother was dead and the other one got his ass kicked by the other Kachuk.
The ratings were fantastic.
No,
It's
They
all
sold out the
good.
building.
Julio, they cared about
All
hockey
good.
for the first time since 1980.
Julio,
Shut the fuck up.
not only are we getting 4 nations, we might get 14 nations next time around. It's like the CFP. It's going to keep growing. There's going to be a 4-round play-in just to get to 4 teams. You're going to be fired up for that France-Slovenia game.
Why can't I think of the guy Bill Hancock, who defended the first off? We're never gonna. Bill's great people, but he defended the BCS forever until it wasn't. We're never gonna have a playoff until the year they had the playoff, and then
it's never going to be more than a 4-team playoff.
But it will never get past 4.
No,
Look.
but here's my column, right? Tahoe, super nice. Jacob Slavin, you see him in the practice facility. He's up on the wall. Johnny Religion. I mean, he's nice. He's too nice.
That one I'm gonna because look,
your two best players are too nice.
But not everybody.
Slavin and Aho.
But Alexander Barkov is one of the nicest human beings you want to meet. Just to allow me to retort, if you will.
I don't know that those two guys have to be your assholes.
That's what I was going to drive at.
You can have nice guys if you have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? You would need in your world. This is where Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov.
Yes.
They need to be those guys. They need to be the guy
Eric Robinson. You're a big dude.
Yeah.
William Perrier.
You didn't get really a chance to use them enough, and by the time you get to it,
no,
we're already here. I
don't think that's an Eric Robinson scene. I'm saying when you have guys who are 6'2", 6'4", and you're playing the Panthers, and their D are not the best in the league, and you're making them all look like the best in the league. Get in there and rattle them. That's clean. That's hockey.
Yeah.
Get the puck behind them and hit them.
Well, you saw that a little bit in Game 1, and you didn't see any of it here.
Let me put this on a Nintendo hockey level for people to understand. You have.
I could have gone there. That would
have
been a lot cleaner.
So you were going like, you need all these blank words. No, it's kind of like NES hockey, where you just can't have all fat guys.
Right.
We're all skinny guys.
We're all
skinny guys. Yeah.
You need one skinny guy. I prefer one medium guy and 2 fats.
See, I would play 3 medium, 1 fat.
Ooh, no, you need a skinny guy on the face-off, dude.
I was just so skilled.
See, but the point is, you need a mix. I think we can all agree you need a mix, and I think that's what we're saying.
And
you
I would say we all think you need more big guys than skinny guys.
Okay, we all agree you need more big guys than skinny guys. Look, folks,
thank God Luke wasn't here for the Star Wars.
I know. Folks, you are not going to get this. You are not going to get this
No.
analysis anywhere else where we're tying things into NES.
No, but it comes that's a different one. We all know that you played New York.
Well, but to your point, Barkov, super nice.
Yeah,
Marshawn, Kachuk,
not
exactly known,
but like that's the thing when you see a guy like Brad Marchand out there and what he does, but he's also when it's time to be skilled and make plays, that guy makes plays. Yeah, period. Sam Bennett, same way. Although the funny thing was,
Hurricanes need, if you want to go back to the trade deadline, they could use 63 in their colors.
Yeah,
guy like that.
Yeah, to Giglio's point, you need. Yeah, can you inject more of that in there? Sure. You absolutely can, but
Mike's professionalism.
Mike is just
it's so
impressive.
I
really tried.
Hey, you know who they could use actually? They could use a guy like Mikko Rantanen.
No. Well, playoff guy. Yeah. Guy. No, I'll go back to. I thought Giglio was gonna quote British movies because I've been watching a lot of those lately instead of the road he went. But who needs to stand up in that room? I'll just say this right now, and I think it will be the guys who stand up in the room. So in 2006, you said it was Rod Brind'Amour. In 2025, it's got to be Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal, because he's won a cup.
So
he's got to stand up in the room and do that.
And you know this team as well as anybody. Is he a vocal enough leader to stand up and do that? Because Rod Brind'Amour was not a vocal leader,
but he
was a led by lead by example guy. But he spoke during the Montreal series. He spoke before Game 7 of the Buffalo series, and he spoke after Game 6 of the Edmonton series. And he picked his spots. I have a ton of respect for Jordo. Does he have that in him?
I think being around that group the way that I am during the season, I think he's evolved into that.
Okay.
Where it's in years past, it would be, somebody else can talk or that's not. I think because of this, he now knows if I stand up in the room and I just start chewing guys out and saying, what the hell are we doing here? It's going to go a lot further than if it's not him.
Yeah.
And, we can always go with your best players and things like that. They got to be Jordan Stahl's the leader. He's got the C. He'll be the guy. That should be the one where if Roddy comes down the hall, Jordan's got to be the one to tell him, no, go back and this isn't for you.
That's part of the Game 6 thing is Labby was walking into the room, heard Rod talking, turned around and left.
Yeah.
In Edmonton.
Are you guys ready for a level of copium that you might not experience ever again?
They don't have earphones, though.
That's true. They don't. So here's the thing.
I'm going to give Luca.
No. This has nothing to do. No. I am about to
don't give me the Roy Cooper flashbacks, Joe.
No, I am about to provide the copium.
Okay.
And yes.
No.
And Joe, please do not take over the
I thought this was what it was.
This was a.
No.
Oh, sorry.
That's what the beer is.
We'll stand by.
No. So here's the thing. And I was actually texting with somebody about this. I actually mentioned on the main podcast today. Yeah, get that graffiti in there. By the way, you can get OG Light at Graffiti. Just so you know. You can go to Graffiti and you can get singles of OG Light.
There? Can we all get a piece of
this?
Yeah,
why not?
Single copy sales?
You got a I was gonna say I was gonna say they got a newsstand there. I mean, you never know.
I might be out there with a hat selling paper.
We'll create
a fucking cup in my hand, begging for nickels.
We'll create a
extra. Send me the Florida P.
We'll create a beverage for Luke, and we'll call it Behind the Paywall.
There we go.
It'll be great.
There we go.
Like a journalist tears, and we'll sell millions.
No, the beer is going to be called DeCock of the Walk. We all know it. It's going to be a wonderful IPA.
DeCock of the Walk.
Now.
I'm out after that. How can I say anything?
All right. Here's the copium.
He stays professional.
He just right there. The cock of the walk sends him over the edge.
All right.
We're gonna rock around the cock tonight.
Back to it.
It's not always what's said, it's how it's said.
Look, folks, if we can't laugh at this, what are we gonna do? All right, so let's go copium. Here's the copium. Here's the copium. I'm actually gonna channel the movie Clerks. We weren't even supposed to be here today. Meaning the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I know.
So this is one of these things that I think is going to be
supposed to be here today.
No, that's what it is. It's Clerks. We're not even supposed to be here. We're playing hockey on top of the roof of the convenience store right now. So the point
what happened to all the Gatorade?
The point that I'm making here is that If you go back and you tell Rod Brind'Amour in July when he was super in his feels about the losses,
I know.
And he said, hey, Rod, you're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, my dude. You absolutely take that. This was not, I think everybody went into this season, and I know Greg Wyshynski's sitting a couple seats down from us, and I'm not bringing up Greg to like put him on blast, but Greg was in one of those modes of, hey, man, with the losses, some of the retooling, they might not make the playoffs. No. I think the four of us were in agreement. They'll make the playoffs because Rod's a good coach and this team ain't going to quit. But we never really thought of it as, hey, man, this is your window.
So,
but we get here.
Yeah.
And that's when we start getting into that weird, like, it's the Alonzo Mourning meme. It's like, you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe, yeah, but I'm kind of mad. But then again, if you asked me 3 months ago if we'd be here, I'd say no, but we are here. And now I'm mad that they're not performing.
I'll say this. I'm going to turn it over to Mike in a second. I want to make 2 points. One is, this was supposed to be a retooling year. Yes. Next year is the big year. But when you play your way out of that and put yourself in a position to make a deal like they made in January, and then again at the trade deadline, that changes things too. When you get here, it doesn't matter how you got here. You have to strike while the iron is briefly hot. So, Mike, I'm going to turn it over to
that's my thing. Like, you want to go to the start of the year and everybody write you off, and I don't even know if there'll be a playoff team. Look, I get there's a lot of the reasons why things go that way. Core of the team was still here. They made the bottom 6 harder to play against.
Yeah.
And then you watch what they did. Fine. What Luke said is 100% correct. You get here. I do not. Here you go, Giglio. It's for you. I don't give a shit what anybody said in the off season.
Yes,
it doesn't matter.
Do it.
It does happen.
Reggae horn.
It does happen. Thank you. Thank you.
Where is it? Oh, it's on here. Where did it go?
Oh, now you've just killed the momentum here.
There, I did it. Sorry.
But so when you're here,
Sports Radio Theater.
Thank you. It's so great. So when you're here,
the cart.
You're here. I don't care. I don't care what anybody said in July or August or September or October, whatever. It doesn't matter. You get here, you're one of the 4 teams left standing. I get why everybody's upset right now if you're a Canes fan, and this is what we've seen. And I know that you're trying to do the copium and, we're not even supposed to be here. By the way, have you seen any? I wanted to just quote that scene from Clerks. You see any balls down there? Because they're playing ball hockey on the roof.
Right. Just the biggest you ever seen.
We've gone this far. Let's go the whole way. Don't get bashful on me now, Giglio.
Don't piss you out when it comes to free shit to drink. I believe it's the phrase you're looking for. If you're going to be disrespectful, that's not it. Insubordinate.
Yeah. So, but my point is, I don't want copium now.
Truly.
Yeah. I want the team that put themselves in the Final Four.
I'm with you.
And I know that's what everybody else in that room expects right now.
The real issue that we are not dancing around, but just I know we want to wait 2 more losses for it. But the real issue is this was the series where the rubber meets the road. And it's this larger philosophical question: does your system work? And that's the problem that we're getting into.
Yeah. No, I haven't even played their system, though.
I get that. I get that. And 23 was more of that, right?
But
because they did play their game in 23, and it wasn't enough.
The margin of victory in the series is twice what 2023 was, and we're only halfway to the split.
But the reason why I think that's illegitimate to bring up, Giglio, is because if it didn't work, do you even get here?
Yeah, you're not here.
Yeah.
Well, no. The question is,
if it didn't work, you're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No.
You're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, no, I'm with Mike.
If it doesn't work,
I'm with Mike on this one. I think this really just comes down to Florida's just that team, man.
I think Florida is playing their game better than the Hurricanes are playing their game. They're not playing their game at all.
Well,
at all. Right.
They did it for about 25 minutes in game 1.
I think the Hurricanes are having an existential crisis.
Maybe.
I do.
Maybe, but
that's what they will have this offseason.
Look, at least we've discussed the shot volume narrative.
I'm just telling you.
We did. Although the fans wanted more shots.
I mean,
I really did. I thought Greg did a great job today of breaking down statistically some of their problems in this round.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about, to your point about getting here. That's you're good enough to get here. And now the existential crisis is, how do you get past this point?
All right.
I've said this for a couple of years now. Maybe the Carolina Hurricanes are the aughts Senators. The aughts Senators.
The Sharks.
They're good enough to get there, and then they get there. But those teams got there.
Yeah.
So you have to give those teams a little bit of credit because they got there. Okay. This is truly a crossroads for the Hurricanes. You got this. You have the cap going up.
Right.
You know they're going to spend more money. You know they're going to make some other decisions. They have 10 forwards under contract for next year. By the way, we've gone. Sorry, no glasses.
June 17th,
All right.
2006.
No,
You do.
we got 36 minutes. They benched their nominal second line center today.
No.
The Hurricanes benched their nominal second line center today. By the way.
No.
The last guy they benched, they sent out of town in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're talking KK.
Okay.
Here. Yeah. The person Giglio's referencing is Kotkaniemi here.
Yeah.
But
So-
he scored 1 goal since February 1st.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not coming with that
No,
because I get too much of they
Yeah.
affect the game other ways.
Yeah.
And I thought KK was actually pretty good in the playoffs. He hasn't scored. I get that, but he's played pretty well
This is
under
where
their standard. So you can't tell me.
He started out well, and it has been a slow,
Okay,
steady
but you
climb.
can't tell me he affects the game in other ways
So
during the
here-
regular
But,
season.
all right, so here's the problem.
and now when he's not scoring, give me the no, he's not scoring.
well, he wasn't.
Well, it's
no,
either
I mean,
one or the other
he
here
was
now.
pretty bad in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
And you want to get Jankowski in because he's a big body.
Yep.
And theoretically, he should be forechecking, which KK is not going to forecheck like Mark Jankowski.
Yeah.
However,
Well, you know
Here's
who
the
doesn't
issue
like
here.
to admit their mistakes? You think I'm stubborn? You think you're stubborn? You think he's stubborn?
I am.
I think we're all pretty stubborn.
I don't want to get that guy in trouble, but there's somebody who's a hell of a lot more stubborn than we are and who don't like to admit mistakes. What they did by benching that guy tonight was admit a mistake. He's got 5 fucking years left in his contract.
Yeah, well, he's going to have about $834,000 left on his contract
Okay.
after the buyout.
Yeah.
I'm
But here's
just
the-
saying
but
that's what they did
I need
tonight.
to finish the point. Roslovic's not coming out because Roddy loves him.
Yes.
My issue here is I would take Roslovic out and leave KK in because
Okay.
KK is a better defensive player, and you are not going to outscore these guys. I think that's the mistake.
Agree. They got to go under in all these games to win.
Jack
Agreed.
Roslovic, for whatever reason, he is Rod Brind'Amour's boy. I don't understand. They're opposite players. And maybe the thinking is just he's a natural finisher, which we don't have very much of, and we're going to have to be clinical with our chances. But after watching that tonight,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have two-way players who can defend a little of that than Jack Roslovic turning the puck over at the blue line 51 times.
Yeah.
Jack Roslovic scored 22 goals. It was a great value signing. He helped them during the regular season.
Yeah.
They were a better team against Jersey when Jankowski was healthy and in the lineup.
All right. I think we've had enough. You need to go write a column.
It's already posted, man.
Oh, you already posted it?
I could throw some quotes in, but
I mean, but
The
you guys
wor-
don't.
the
You
words
guys
are
don't.
done.
Sooner tonight.
But
Don't
the
worry.
thing is, you
There's
guys.
a first period.
Well, you know what? Look, to your point, in the third period, I was already working on the thumbnail.
I was looking up Panther siren sounders that 3 and 3.
Whoa, they have a siren.
No, they have a drum.
No. When Carolina Panthers
Oh,
players
the Carolina
Yes.
Panthers.
sound the Hurricane siren,
I
Yes.
see.
Jonathan
in the
Stewart was
playoffs.
here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Hurricanes are 3 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's opening siren. That's the pregame only.
By the way, you say 3 and 3.
Yeah, we got a Thursday stat,
You're
right?
No, well, I can give you the Thursday stat. But Rod Brind'Amour now, Luke, earmuffs. 82 total games the Hurricanes have played under Rod Brind'Amour now in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
42 and 40.
Deep cut.
42 and 40?
It's not bad,
Mm-hmm.
but
Anyway, as I
anyway,
was
you
saying,
were saying.
as I was saying, they're 3 and 3. That does not include Matt Rule doing the third period siren when they were eliminated in 2021.
Matt
And he did the
Checks
third.
out.
Yeah.
He did the third.
I mean,
period siren. Dang, the third
Seems
period
like,
siren.
seems
was
like they
not-
had things figured out then.
Yeah, buddy, you're not going to be
so
here
Matt
long.
Rule got him out, which sounds about right.
Yeah.
But 3 and 3, given the fact they're like what? What's the number at home, Joe?
Oh,
Under
all
Rod?
time or under
No,
Rod?
right,
Under
29.
Rod at home,
So if
29
you're
and
29
13.
and 13 at home and 3 and 3 when there's a Carolina Panther on the siren. I would say keep pounding your ass back to Charlotte is what I would say.
Wait, was that your Thursday record for?
Thursdays are a
Roddy?
problem. Roddy's Thursday record 6 and 9 now.
Okay, because I was going to say in the playoffs, he is 46 in 40.
You give him some wins that don't exist in the
Oh,
real
No,
world.
they do
Oh,
exist.
my God.
We
They
went over
exist,
this.
though.
I texted Joe tonight.
Yeah,
You
they
have to put the
exist.
3 Rangers games in the
They
spreadsheet.
exist, man.
They count.
They exist.
They count for player stats. They count for series wins. They count.
Yeah, they count, dude. Stop it.
Is this?
By
Are
the
we
way,
going to get into the
I'm gonna
reigning
give-
versus
I'll-
defending thing
No,
again here?
not tonight.
No.
I want to give you guys credit as long as we're here and we're
Yeah.
wrapping up.
Yeah, we're wrapping up because we got a lot of sports phone calls and you
is
can't hear
legit
them.
good.
Yeah.
The beer is
Yeah,
legit good.
right,
You know
good.
what it tastes like? And Joe and I were talking about this earlier, randomly, separately.
Yeah.
It tastes a little bit like spotted cow.
Oh, I thought you were going to say old style.
You know what?
Good
Wit,
Wisconsin.
Wit will absolutely take that.
It's got a little bit of that cask condition sort
Little
of.
bit.
Man, no, it's not, but it's got that feel to it.
Look, man, Whit Baker over Bond knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Props.
When I told him, look, man, I just want beer that tastes like
Speaking
beer.
of copium,
he's
that's
like,
how you get through this.
he's like, I got you on that. And yeah, shout out to everybody who went to the breeze through in the last 24 hours, 36 hours now, and bought the majority of the cases that were there. So love to see that.
Can I get to the White Claw lemonade now?
Yes,
Is it gone?
Please.
It's
That
now.
was the picture.
Is it
Yeah,
gone?
there's a picture
No,
he posted on
it's still
Twitter and
there.
it's cooler in front of the White Claw lemonade. And I texted him. I was like, "Can you get that shit out of the way so I get some White Claw lemonade, please?"
I mean, heck, at the rate things are going, we might have to pound White Claw.
Zima, we were talking about Zima earlier
All right.
tonight. I'd kill for a Zima.
Final question for Mike Maniscalco on his graffiti microphone.
Yes.
Go visit Graffiti. Apparently, they have really nice TVs, a nice bourbon
They
selection,
have a great
and
bourbon selection.
and they
Wait,
will
is there an
carry.
ACC flag on that?
On the back of it, yeah.
I love that.
Accomplished
Oh, yeah,
greatness.
I show 'em
The
that.
Hurricanes accomplished greatness tonight.
I mean, hey, you said it, Luke. Why don't you just tell the audience what you texted me? What tonight was really about? We
Totally
need Jim.
forgot.
We need Jim Phillips. On
Jim
this,
Phillips on the siren to accomplish some greatness.
which I guess that gets to my final question: is there going to be a Game 5?
I'd
Well,
like
you
to,
know, normally I would
Luke
say yes.
first.
No, yeah, normally I would say yes, just based on the
Just-
way you're gonna get. But I don't know, man. It just feels like the Panthers. Like, here's the thing: I was looking at the numbers. The Rangers and the Panthers in the playoffs against the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Convert on the power play at a 35% clip. I think those two squads with their Russian goalies and their special teams, they have the +1 sort of paladin that the Hurricanes cannot defend. Whatever, man. I don't know. Is that a Star Wars thing?
No.
They got
That's okay.
they've got the lightsaber of Tatooine. That the
Okay, I'm
Hurricanes
gonna
cannot defend.
mute you. In honor of Around the Horn signing off, I'm gonna mute you
Oh.
after that one. So, Game 5, yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Mike, Game 5,
I've
yes
lost
or no?
faith before you mute me.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, I agree with you. I think there's going to be a Game 5. I think there's a. I will. I'm not going to specify the youth hockey coach that said this once, but basically, it's put it on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on the table.
Yeah.
Game 3, you got to put it on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I will say this. I'll be excited to see your doppelganger.
Mike
Mike
McCarthy,
No,
Or
McDaniel,
Mike McDaniel.
the head coach of the Miami Dolphins,
Nice.
a.k.a. Joe Giglio,
Yeah.
coming in there like he's just walked out of the set of Carlito's Way with Sean Penn. Bang the drum down there.
Yeah. McDaniel.
There's a deep cut
That's
for
a deep
everybody
cut,
there.
yeah. McDaniel's me better dressed.
Just don't get on a train with Mike
know-
McDaniel. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you do, because the thieves are gonna take his watch before they get to you.
But I will. I've just seen this team too many times. Just when you're ready to say, oh, well, this is going to happen or that, not going to go their way. And I understand what we're dealing with, some weird forces of hockey nature and whatnot with the Eastern Conference final. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, we're getting one more game back here. Does that mean that we're going to go back to Florida after this? I don't know.
No.
But
So
we're
you're
getting
talking
one
like
more
a
game.
Tampa 2021 scenario.
Yeah, I got that
Scenario,
Yeah,
if you
I
will.
kind of had that feeling because I really did think tonight we were going to get the best of the Carolina
I
Hurricanes.
thought they were going to finally win a period in this series, and that's the thing that shocks me. I think it's not just
It's the start.
it's not just that they didn't ever get to their game and that they haven't gotten to their game consistently against the Panthers. It's that they had nothing to start and then they got embarrassed. Like the reason I say 4 games and the reason I keep coming back to is it's not they lost game 1 and they could be like, man, we had things we
Yep.
could have done differently.
Yeah.
This game, you didn't just get beat. Your own fans were mocking you.
Yeah.
Like I was honestly surprised that there wasn't a sweater on the ice at the end.
But,
honestly surprised.
But I'm proud of Canes fans tonight. I'm proud of them
They got the assignment.
because oftentimes you and I specifically,
No, I know where
you
you're
and
going.
I have
Mhm.
had this text conversation that I have
100
zero
times.
issues bringing up on the After Dark tonight, which is brought to you by Bloom and Blinds. Give them a call.
Oh.
Bloomin'
This is
DeCock
very much.
as the comments.
Oh, there you go.
I love it.
This is very much become a Midwest goodbye.
It has. Well, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Maybe not. So you
So
and
I
I,
says,
buddy. Hey, as the two people
so I
who
says
are
to the guy.
gainfully employed, you can fuck straight off. We have 560 people watching right now.
So
I would get comfortable if I were you.
Luke,
It's
I
I
know
ain't
that
going anywhere.
It's Luke DeCock on Venmo.
250,
I'm in.
60 for
Yeah,
them. I'm
yeah.
just saying
yeah.
for what we're dealing with
So
here.
I'll see you graffiti.
to wrap the point.
Yes.
You and I have had this conversation
I
a
know.
lot about expectations being raised for this organization. At some point, we, media and fans, had to graduate to we expect more.
The training wheels had to come off.
They had to come off at some point. Obviously, the media is usually ahead of the fans when it comes to this kind of stuff. I think that's the case. The media is typically ahead of the
Aspects
fans.
Let Mike talk here. He's got to take it.
Well, let me
No.
finish my take real quick. So I'm actually proud of Canes fans tonight.
Yeah.
Because tonight was so embarrassing. This was not a go get him next time, boys. It was no, that's crap. We expect more out of you, and we're actually going to mock you in a very, I've been joking about how New York is a soft sports town now where they want to celebrate the Knicks, which that choke job. Tonight was very much a no. If you're really about a sports town, you hold your professional sports teams accountable
great
in a
point.
way that you don't with a college team. And there's way too much college-like atmosphere sometimes for the professional team. Don't get me wrong, it's a feature for the Canes.
Yeah.
But when you get to this level and you've had 7 years of success and you're back here in a year that, hey man, it's there for you if you really think about it. I'm actually happy with Canes fans not just doing the shoot the puck chant, but booing too.
Yeah.
Booing when it's appropriate, because
When
that is the only way fans can truly show their displeasure.
And the players should notice that.
Yes. Well, as I said to Mike before you sat down, the Canes do a really good job of incorporating the fans into the culture. They do it on the video board. They make you feel invested. And if they're going to laud you for what you mean to them, well, then you're also going to have to accept that, man, that's not what we come here for.
No. And game one, you could get away with that.
Yes.
This performance, effort, intention, attitude was unacceptable. And the fans let them know it.
Yeah.
And that you're right. It's a great moment of growth.
Yeah.
For this market, this franchise, because you need that. You cannot succeed without being pushed.
Yep. I'm not
And-
asking to be Toronto.
No. Or
But-
Ottawa, where they eat
That's
their young,
different.
right? Or Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Like, yeah, no.
I'm not asking for that.
No, I mean,
but tonight
Vancouver,
was
they
fine.
win a series. There's like knives in their back.
Yeah.
No.
But-
But
yeah.
By the
something
way-
like this has to be called out.
By the way, if this doesn't turn into a gif of me being Ben Affleck just staring into the void as you were going on that rant,
Sorry.
internet, do your thing.
You need another beer?
I'll get to it. Trust me.
Yeah, you might need it.
Careful foam on it.
Appreciate
Wait,
it. We're gonna
just-
give that a minute
Just
to
watch the roadcast.
get. Yeah, I been around
I know.
materials before, Joe.
I know. It's not your first
Look,
rodeo.
Only,
This team-
only Mike.
This team, if you want something to believe in why we're coming back and the series isn't over, this team, this postseason, of their 5 games on the road, 4 of their starts were great.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can get to that. Everything that happens tonight, just flush it, burn it, whatever the hell you want to do, put it in the circular file. That is what it is.
An 8th grade English teacher.
Whatever. At this
You got
point,
a ditto machine?
at this point, it doesn't even matter, does it? Are we here? Run it through the shredder. I've got more because it's what I
Put
do. I
some
did
liquid
radio.
paper on
I
it.
did. I did radio
Liquid-
forever, Luke. As you know, I can
paper.
run down this line.
Liquid paper.
The
Man. I love it.
the issue here tonight is you picked the wrong time to play your worst game of the season
Yeah.
at home.
Worst game in 7 years.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're going down that. But I do want to go back into
Worst playoff game in 19 years.
I want to go back into the dark ages for this one, as I used to sit in that booth over there
Hashtag
and
pray for
take-
Maniscalco.
and take calls. And it was on the, before that, it was on
You
the
took calls
concourse.
after the game?
Yeah, I took
Shit,
calls
I
after
thought
the
we
game.
invented
We
that.
Well,
invented
no.
that.
No.
We also invented beer-flavored beer.
Yeah, you
Yes,
did,
we
and that's
did.
good.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you did that.
Yeah.
But I also want
podcasting.
people. I want people to remember the 9 years in the wilderness
Yeah.
where it was not this. And I mean, I love the angst and the disappointment over a loss, because you kind of want that. That to me is when you are growing.
I think that's what Joe was talking
No,
about.
no, but that's- I mean,
you got
I mean, you got to have
I
that.
get what Mike's saying.
But I also don't want people to forget that when people would come down here, and Luke, you'd know it from some of the fine columnists, and they would just totally ignore that this was a place in the hockey world. Well, it is one now, and you can't ignore it. And I hate the fact that they get to the conference finals and it all gets pissed away because they don't win in the conference final. Like everything they've built in this 7 years just becomes disregarded because of that.
I have to ask you a very important question. Was this loss bad enough that a Montreal radio station is going to have a relocation rumor tomorrow?
Oh, with 100% certainty.
Hurricanes moving to
because
Quebec.
There's a new arena in Quebec, which is now 21 years old or whatever it is.
No.
And look,
second Dallas team.
But think about how far we've come where every time the Canadians came to town. Now, look, however you feel about Tom Dundon. Peter Karmanos starved this franchise nearly to death.
Yeah.
And now you spend to the cap, you have a chance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got it.
Newspaper guy.
Yeah,
I know.
That's fine. No, but that's what I'm saying. I would much rather be at this point with aggravation as a fan, as opposed to
that's why I'm
game
saying,
82. Well, we already know where we're going.
You want to be the Carolina
Sweater
Panthers?
off our back.
But that's why
Thanks,
I'm saying
Mark
it's the
Antoine
existential
Brind'Amour.
crisis. That's why I'm saying it is the existential crisis, because it's Dundon, and he is going to look at this from that.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's going to take a step back and look at it and go, "How do I do?" Because he's hyper-competitive.
What should happen this off season, and we've seen it now. They're going to take a look at, all right, what do we need? What swings should we take?
Dude, they're going to have so much cap space.
Yeah, no, there's big swings to take.
There's going to be some big
here's
swings.
the problem.
And I always applaud them for taking those swings. Even the Rantanen thing, I applaud it.
And there is going to be somebody out there who looks at this and says, okay, I'm going to go to a place where I can win. And you're not dealing with Toronto's media or New York's media.
Yep. Are you pitching Mitch Marner to me?
No, I'm not. I don't.
They need a second line center.
I honestly don't make
better down the middle.
Actually,
they need to get bigger on defense.
I don't make any.
They need a top line center so that Sebastian Aho is your second line center. Then you can win the Stanley Cup.
We can do all that in the offseason. What I'm just saying is they at least now have
breaking, Mike.
They're not. Here's a good Untouchables. It's an Untouchables reference for Luke.
I'll use the tag for you, buddy.
They used to bring the knife to a gunfight. Now they come in and they're loaded, and it's equal footing now.
There we go.
So we'll see.
Hashtag as expected.
All right, boys.
Hashtag.
When's game 5?
Game 5 would be Wednesday.
Wednesday?
No. Yeah.
It's every other day.
That's right.
Aren't there 2 days between 4 and
We got Saturday, Monday,
Saturday,
Wednesday.
Monday, and then Wednesday, right?
Yep.
No, the finals are 2 days. You're right, Mike. Finals are 2 days.
We'll see you Wednesday.
I can read a calendar, Bill.
All right, get out of here. We're gonna do some sports phone calls. The After Dark is
We're bringing this back on the rail.
back on the rails. The After Dark is you feel free to drink another beer. The After Dark is brought to you by Bloom and Blinds. Check them out. 919-980-9815. The sports phone has been off the charts this evening. The calls started coming in the first period. Let's go ahead and start things. Let's go ahead and start things with a 252.
I don't think y'all will have any trouble with the cursing portion of the sports phone. Good night.
You're right. You're right. Actually, we had no problems cursing ourselves, if you're really being honest about it. All right, let's go to 919.
It's true.
How on earth is the Canes' fucking strategy to shoot every piece of garbage from the blue line that they can get their sticks on, but you get a 2-on-1 and you pass every goddamn time? Shoot the puck. Shoot the puck.
There it is. There's the shoot the puck chant. Oh, this is okay. There's a 305. Remember when we do the After Darks, I just put these MP3s into the StreamYard off the Google Voice from the sports phone. This is a 305. I'm pretty sure this is my cousin Angela.
Joey, it's your cousin. No, qué pena.
She cursed in Spanish. You can curse in Spanish or don't.
Or English.
Or English for that matter. All right. 910.
I'm just heartbroken. Well, I think I'm more upset with my wallet. I've got a $100 ticket. The cash out's currently $3. Should I take it?
That clearly came in a little on the early side. Yeah, you should have taken it. From an 828.
Guys, in the arena, Canes down 3-0. How do you feel about Dave Doran?
Why is Dave Doran gonna catch a stray? What did Dave Doran do?
He's in the arena.
Was he in the arena?
That's what the caller said.
Oh, okay. So
I am in the arena.
he's in the arena.
Well, but these comments tonight. Ooh,
Oh,
we gotta
the
get
comments
some
are
of
on
these.
fire.
What's up, OG? This is Kyler. That was some first period, wasn't it? I don't know if I'd call it hockey or just kind of tossing the puck at one side of the ice and hoping that the Florida Panthers aren't there, because we did not look up for the entirety of the first period. I mean, we looked up a couple times. Maybe we had a couple of passes wide open, which we did, but, we just don't look up because we're scared to get hit. I don't know when hockey wasn't a contact sport, but it seems like that's what the Hurricanes were expecting. 3 goals on 5 shots is abysmal. That is not locked in. That is, I don't even want to blame Freddie on any of them, but at the same time, you need to make a damn save in the playoffs. So, if Cooch doesn't play in this second period, I think we might be cooked for the game. If he does come out there and talking, I want to see a 06 Cam Ward type of feel to this Eastern Conference Final. Something's got to change. Actually, a lot's got to change. And I don't know. I trust Rod to figure it out, but my trust is dwindling and my heart is hurting. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we did Siko Chekhov. In the comment section, we are getting a lot of Rod Brind'Amour, gotta go, big changes, that kind of stuff. Rod's not going anywhere. Rod Brind'Amour, and again, this comes from a person that understands, and hockey coaches are hired to be fired. Brind'Amour understands this better than anybody else. He knows there's a certain there's an expiration date on all coaches in the NHL. But I don't know if this is necessarily specifically a Rod Brind'Amour issue. Could you see some changes on the staff? Maybe. I don't know. But if you're going to get mad at Rod
over Rod's dead body,
there's that too. I do feel though that you two things can be true at once. You can be mad at how these things have played out, but you also have to understand they ain't here without Rod, the culture, everything that goes along with it, players wanting to play for Rod Brind'Amour. It's a really tough spot that the Canes find themselves in, because I mean, the guy has his own lore attached to the team, and he not only from winning the cup as the captain, but also revitalizing this franchise along with Tom Dundon. Don't get me wrong, but he's also a coach who can deal with Tom Dundon. We don't know what another coach might deal with. You could get another coach in here. He might last 3 years and he's moving on to the next guy. I'm just saying.
Another coach?
Yes.
With Dundon?
Yes.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
Dundon's got like Steinbrenner qualities to him. If it's another coach.
He would absolutely fire a guy once a year.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So those are things that I haven't fully processed those thoughts yet. Anyway, we're 336.
Sitting here watching Hurricanes game halfway through the second period. They're down 3-0, and just thinking about the tippy top talent, as Giglio always likes to say, and talking about your best players have to be your best players, and all season and all the postseason we've been talking about. Svech, Aho, Jarvis, those have to be the Hurricanes' best players, but looks like maybe Jalen Chatfield was actually the best player for the Canes, because if losing a second pair D-man is throwing us off this much, then seems like he was a little bit more important than we thought. So yeah, disappointing, at least as of now. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Again, I understand the point on Chatfield. I don't disagree with you in all the points that we've made and you've made about Chatfield. The spidey senses tingling after Game 5 in the Washington series. But the first period was not because Jalen Chatfield wasn't on the ice. That had those are two separate conversations.
This was a wholesale failure tonight.
Yeah, straight up.
And really, there's a lot of not understanding the assignment tonight. Their season was on the line tonight.
Yeah, no,
and they did not start the game understanding that, or either that, or Paul Maurice hit such a button with his team after a win to say, I didn't like the way that we played. Well, fuck you. We're going to come out and show you.
Come out better, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they were the puck possession that we're used to seeing out of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Non-existent.
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 And that was the Panthers.
Yep.
They were just controlling this game. I think you made it about the preseason. There were parts of this that looked like a preseason game.
Yep.
And truly, the Hurricane season was on the line, and they just had no response. And then they were obviously broken by the 3-0. Aho scores.
Taken off the
Mo
board.
gets a challenge. The challenge is correct.
It was right call.
And now it was,
I still don't know if that Aho goal changes anything.
Probably not.
I don't think it, but not the way that the Panthers have been playing.
I'll say this: the Hurricanes are so good in the second period. You could at least get it to 3-2 in the second period.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you win the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We haven't talked a lot about Freddie tonight, and again, I know some people were mad at me when I tweeted that hell of a night for Freddie to turn back into a pumpkin. He was so good by any standard.
Yeah,
in the first 2 rounds. That was the Friday they needed tonight. And to give up the goal 77 seconds into the game, again, to Gustav Forsling, not one of their dudes, that was a killer. That was not a great goal.
Not a great goal.
That was a killer.
I mean,
those are the ones you got to save. You got to help your team. And for whatever reason, he was out of it. It's just a weird.
Everybody was out of it.
Everything was weird.
Because with that Forsling goal, to your point, we can get on Freddie, whatever, but it starts with Svechnikov turning the puck over. Orlov is on an island at that point.
Right.
And it gets ripped past him, which is what you expect, and then it goes past Freddie. That's a collective team thing. All right, to a 704.
Hey guys, it's Paul. Didn't think I'd have to crush all 8 OG lights that I bought to get through tonight, but holy fuck. They suck.
Yeah, man, they did suck tonight. To another 704.
I mean, I got to sit here and watch the Canes blow it. I'm watching right now NC State blow it against Clemson. I watched the Braves go under 500, and I can't even. I live in Atlanta, so I can't get any OG Light or Nature's Relief. I just need a hug.
Oh man. We're giving out beer. Should we start giving out free hugs too? I don't know. 336.
What the fuck was that? Was that a Dave Doran coached hockey team out there or some shit? Jesus fucking Christ. A fucking Ovies' Little League hockey team looked better than that shit out there. Love you guys.
So many strays for Dave.
Why is Dave Doran catching so many strays tonight? Damn. I guess it's because they fired Keats, so they got to move on. They're like, who's the next target? Doran. Let's bang on him. I mean, I don't disagree, but I mean, let's go bang on him. Also, as it relates to the Little League hockey team that Jacob plays, I may or may have not texted another hockey dad and said, "Man, that first period reminded me of a game that we watched in Minneapolis."
Yeah,
sometimes
totally helpless.
Like when you
what was their rating? What was our rating?
Right? Like what was my hockey ranking for that team out of Minnesota? What's ours? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. And that's what that looked like.
Is it called the My Hockey Rating?
It's called My Hockey Rankings. I'm being serious.
I'm gonna clean up my own language here. Good thing I've only had 3.
And I've had to input scores into My Hockey Rankings to help the algorithm to determine the number. This is a real thing I did all last year, and I'll be doing it again for 14U Red. Let's freaking go. All right. Is this the same number?
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, same way. I liked hearing what the fuck. All right. 910.
OG Light hits the shelves, and the Canes forget how to play hockey all of a sudden. Causation and correlation. I'll hang up and listen.
No.
I mean, look. It could be the way you look at it is that Florida was always going to do this to the Canes. We just happened to provide the beer just in time. See what I'm saying? Have you already crushed 3 of those?
No, I had to.
Okay. Well, I mean, we say it's OG Light. It's a very drinkable beer-flavored beer. 704.
It boggles the mind that this is the effort in Game 2. After getting embarrassed in Game 1, the plan is to come out and play even worse. What are you trying for shock value? I mean, have some guts and some heart. I can't believe how disgusting this is.
I mean, I don't disagree. It was a pretty terrible night. All right, to a 919.
Boys, I'm calling you. First intermission. We're down 3-0. I can accept us losing. The Carolina Hurricanes are probably the best representation of the state of North Carolina that we all love and know. They fight. They're gritty. They're underrated. They're disrespected. I can take them losing. What I can't take is them getting embarrassed and ran off the ice every single night. 2 years ago, took the 4-0. I was sick. We should have won a couple of those games. It is what it is. But they cannot, cannot continue to get ran off the ice. I hope you guys play this back later and are laughing because we won, or maybe we made it close. Hopefully we won, but this in the series, if they're going to just keep getting ran off the ice. And Freddie, I know some of these are on him, but just please, for once, can he make some of the ridiculous saves that Bob's making? All right, have a good one.
Okay, about the Bob thing, I think we're kind of making something that doesn't exist. In order for Bob to be Bob, you have to challenge Bob. I'm not saying he didn't have.
They didn't have the puck at all.
Right. Like I'm not.
The fans were chanting,
shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck, but you got to have the puck to shoot the puck.
Yeah. So this business that, oh man, they're getting bobbed again. I mean, there's a couple saves here and there that he's made, but oftentimes I think at one point, I forgot who shot the puck, but you basically said it's like playing catch out there. You just toss it into his glove.
Yeah.
So I'm not really getting the sense that the Canes have done anything to challenge Bobrovsky in the situation like we saw in 2023. So let's get the whole, they're getting goalied again. You have to generate actual shots to get goalied. We're not really seeing that tonight. At 864.
What concert is next, by the way?
I don't know.
They're setting up for a concert.
I don't know.
Here.
I don't know.
3-0 now. Rod, not sure what to say here, bud. Florida owns your ass, buddy. Paul Maurice owns you, dude. It is embarrassing, man. I'm sorry. Your team's soft. Your team is soft. Softer than linen sheets. Getting bullied. Bob owns. OWNS owns the Hurricanes. Damn steel curtain Bob. Jeez. Way to come out for the home fans there, Canes. Shit. No Bojangles promotion, no Chick-fil-A, nothing, man. No Rooster ice cream. Good Lord, pitiful.
Serena pointing out that Rao Alexander is here tomorrow.
Should I know who that is?
He's a reggaeton superstar.
Oh,
yeah. He's not Bad Bunny, but he's not bad. He's got a couple good tracks.
So they keep the ice, they cover it.
Yeah.
Put a stage out.
Yeah. That's how it always works. I mean,
this dude, how many people will you be here? You think will be here for this dude?
Oh, for Rao?
Yeah.
I would imagine that we're gonna have a full building.
Really?
Yeah. He's a pretty big I think the technical term is urban Latino music. I believe that's what it's called. I could be wrong. To me, it's all reggaeton, and I love reggaeton. All right, 919.
Dude, I told y'all in the chat earlier today, the Canes were going to chap the Panthers' ass. You deleted my comment, and now we're down 3-0 in the first period. I knew when I saw you deleted my comment, and I unsubscribed from the channel, that we were going to lose tonight, and it's y'all's fault. And I called. I said we needed to play Kochetkov in Game 2. You didn't play my call. And, yeah, dude, still a Canes fan, but not going to be drinking any OG Light, dude.
Whoa. Wait, hold on a second.
We don't even know how to delete comments.
Hold on a second. Let me play this again.
We're not
Dude, I told y'all in the chat earlier today, the Canes were going to chap the Panthers' ass. You deleted my comment.
No. There was no deletion of comment. I actually saw that comment while we were doing OG Live. We might not have put it up on the screen, but I didn't delete any comments.
We
today.
can't delete comments.
No, you can. You can. I actually had to put some people in timeout today.
Did you?
No, like for real.
Oh.
In the actual chat tonight.
Oh, that was you?
I've put some people in timeout.
Okay.
But like during live today in the normal show, I didn't delete any comments. I don't know what he was talking about. But hey, man, can't win them all. All right, 919.
Hey guys, it's Ben from Durham. It's about 5 minutes left in the game. Just calling about the Canes. And it's something the last couple of days has me thinking. You know how y'all are always talking about trying
Hold on, we're laughing here. Was
So
that
good.
Dave Dorn? Yeah, it might have been Dave Dorn. I don't know. You sounded too excited to be Dave Dorn. All right, I'll
Triangle
resume.
good when it comes to our local ACC teams. Well, I got a new phrase for the Hurricanes. I think they're Metropolitan Division good. When they get to the playoffs, they run into teams like the Devils, teams like the current Capitals with older players, and they are able to run their system and run them out of the building. But when they play an Atlantic Division team and an actual team that's hungry for the cup like Florida, who just skates harder and faster, they don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what the fuck to say. They're much Metropolitan Division good.
Look, I'm with you. I don't know what else to say after tonight. All right, to a 919.
Well, I think this can pretty much sum up how the Canes played today.
That was good. That was a good hand fart. I was impressed by that. All right, to a 919.
Hey guys, Sam here in Wilmington again. Hope y'all are doing well. Love the show. Can y'all do me a favor and beat me to death with a hammer? Can you beat me to death real slow? Unlike the Panthers that made it quick. You know, just fucking. God damn it.
Yeah, I believe that's a sentiment that we're getting a lot of on the sports phone. I think we got 4 more that I've put into the stream here, and then we'll call it a night. It's from an 832.
I get it. It's Bob. I totally get this. I totally understand this. But for the love of fucking God, it doesn't matter if Jesus Christ is their damn goaltender. You don't fucking... Wait, it's a Wayne Gretzky quote. This is a hockey thing. You have to shoot the fucking puck. I don't understand this. We're going to be intimidated. Understanding it's one of the best goaltenders in the world. You're intimidated by a goaltender? A goaltender? Broski, it doesn't fucking matter. Your entire style of play is shooting the damn puck. So why aren't you shooting the puck? I'm shocked at this entire thing. We're going to go straight up. Not even. Usually we hit 20 shots on target. We are getting outshot. You don't fucking win games. That's been the way you lose. And of course, when the penalty kill goes, that's how they go out. They're just mental midgets. They're mental midgets. When it comes down to it's a thing now. They're fucked. It's a thing. It's like the fucking Buffalo Sabres. It's a thing. It's like the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs will never make it to Stanley Cup Finals ever again because it's a thing. So congratulations, Hurricanes. It's a thing. I can't wait until I'm not watching the next two. I probably am going to watch the rest of this misery. But I just, for the love of fucking God, shoot the goddamn puck. This shit is not fucking hard. For the love of God, and I understand I'm in the South. GD is not a good thing to say. I don't care. I'm ticked. For the love of God, shoot the puck. That and state baseball lost. The only good thing for tonight is the Astros. It's a Houston area phone number. You'll get the hint on that one. But for the love of fucking God, shoot the puck.
Was that Herm Edwards? That was a comment that we got. Let's see, from an 864.
Wow. Just really impressed that you guys are doing a post-game show of a little ACC baseball, State versus my Clemson Tigers.
Wait, so State lost tonight? Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll tackle that in the mailbag tomorrow. 919.
Well, that was a bad hockey thing. I've now put more effort into this than the Hurricanes put into that game.
Wow. All right. Last call, 704.
Holy shit, boys. What the fuck was that? Yeah, the refs sucked and Bad Freddy showed up tonight, but this one falls squarely on Rod fucking Brind'Amour. I have defended Brind'Amour to the death. The man is a legend in this town, and deservedly so. But what happened tonight was absolute coaching malpractice. Rod wants to beat Mo so bad it literally makes him stupid. Putting 56 in the lineup sent a message to every player on the team, and they responded accordingly. Even Rod knew how dumb it was. That's why he only saw 7 minutes of fucking ice time even after Walker went down. How do you expect your guys to put their bodies on the line and do what it takes to win a Stanley Cup when you clearly don't take it that seriously? I fucking love Rod Brind'Amour, and I always will, but god damn, I don't know if I can take another game with him behind the bench.
Whoa.
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 Whoa, 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 whoa. Also,
what's crazy in
Bob,
7 years, this was
Jesus,
actually
man.
probably his
I'm going to put
best,
another user in timeout. Good Lord, man. Yeah, like, I don't understand why you got to be so damn aggressive in the comments. Jeez, guys.
I actually think this was Rod's best year coaching. Given the reset, then given the Rantanen deal, then given the reset after that. I mean, when has he dealt with more moving parts than this year? I get it. They just had the worst performance of his tenure. I understand that. But if you think about it, this season has actually been his best work. It's like Dave Doran with MJ Mars, since we want to keep bringing it.
Stop it. Yeah, we're gonna say
because
I know,
remember,
Dave keeps
that was
getting-
his best year. It was
So,
they were 8
all
and
right.
4, but it was his best year.
All right, to your point, I think there are two things going on here. I agree with you. When you take a step back and you look at the totality of the season, Rod dealt with, what would you say, 3 versions of a team? We actually talked to Rod shortly after the trade deadline and after they had to move on from Mikko Rantanen.
Well, no, going back to last offseason, we talked to him last summer.
Yeah.
He was visibly and verbally disappointed with the exit of Pesci in particular, Shea in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And then and Nason, I would say, too. Obviously, Roslovich made up for Nason. The defense, they rejiggered, made it work.
Yeah.
So he did that and then Natchez, remember, he pulled the best out of Natchez when everyone said, you don't like Natchez. He said, no, that's not true. I'm the biggest Natchez fan there is. And
got Natchez to a point where they could trade him.
Right. And then they bring in a guy that they thought would push them over the edge. Obviously, that deal did not work out. And then they made 2 other deals to get to this point. Each time he was able to adjust and get the best out of the team. Look, tonight, it happens. It does. The Hurricanes, I hate to say, they're a limited team. That's why I look at this as a existential crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think Tom Dundon is looking at it like an existential crisis. That's where I think you guys are kind of missing the Dundon angle. He's the one looking at it, not me. I'm putting myself in the owner's shoes. He is hyper involved, hyper, to the point where I try to explain to people, Tom has an idea, then it's Tulski's job to run the numbers, figure out how does this work, and then Rod may chime in with I don't know if that's going to work, boss,
but
you know what I mean?
We'll give
I'll
it a
make
go.
it work.
Yeah.
I'll try to make it work. So I think that's where we're getting to here, because Tom's been the owner for the 3 runs to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, Tom wants consistency to tie in all of our conversations about ACC basketball. But ultimately, Tom wants to win the Stanley Cup. That's what he wants.
So the question is, to double down, and this is how we'll close things. I don't disagree with you that Rod put in some of his best coaching work, given the various iterations of the hockey team he was working with, and managed to get all of this to the Eastern Conference Finals when there was an opportunity to do so with the teams that they got through, New Jersey and Washington. And I agree with you that Tom Dundon is the X factor in all of this. We're not used to him as an owner yet, even though he has been here for nearly a decade, right? We're not quite used to how he's going to look at these kind of, because to Tom's credit, remember, he told us in the beer cave a while ago that your window is different than my window.
Yeah.
That's proven out to be true. And clearly you must believe in Rod Brind'Amour, and he's proven that he can get you to these spots in years that a lot of people didn't think you could get to this spot. So I don't think
a floor, if you will.
I don't think
there's a floor.
Yeah, there's a floor. I don't think Rod is necessarily the problem. The question is, can the Canes convince a caliber of player to be here? And that's where it's not on Rod. It's on Dundon to make that work. And this offseason is going to be really interesting because we're already talking about the offseason. They're going to have money. They're going to have their eyes on that tippy-top player that you've talked about. And if we can understand that Brind'Amour has evolved as a coach throughout the last 7 years, what's the next evolution of him as a coach with potentially what the owner wants in tippy-top players? We don't know the answer to that. We don't, but we're going to have an offseason to discuss it. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the After Dark. Shout out to everybody who has jumped on. Shout out to everybody who went and bought OG Light today. You needed it. And of course, big thanks to Bloomin' Blinds for sponsoring the After Dark. Give them a call at 919-980-9815. You might have thrown something at your window treatment this evening.
Yeah,
in frustration.
those blinds can be fickle.
They can be very, very fickle. They can fix them. If you're looking at, you can't sleep because you're so frustrated, you need blackout curtains. Man, they got full-on automation at Bloomin' Blinds. So just call them, 919-980-9815. We'll end at a high note.
So thank you, Gomez. Thank you, crew. And fucking go Hurricanes.